So, how do you actually put a price tag on a private fortune? I mean, it's not like you can just go and check a stock price, right? Today, we're going to unpack one of the most talked about valuations out there. But more importantly, we're going to get into the fascinating and surprisingly complex process behind how a number like this even gets calculated in the first place. And there it is, $7.3 billion. It's a massive, headline-grabbing figure for sure. But what does it actually represent? The real story here isn't just the number itself, but kind of the hidden architecture behind it. So where does it come from? Okay, so the source for this number is Forbes, and they've been valuing fortunes for decades now. This gives us our starting point. But you've got to notice the key word here, estimated. As we're about to see, an estimate is a whole world away from a certainty. So how do you even start to build a number this big? Well, you have to break it down. And according to the Forbes analysis, this whole valuation really rests on three core pillars, and each one is contributing to that massive total. And here they are, those pillars. What's really fascinating is the blend you see right here. You've got classic tangible assets like real estate sitting right next to super modern digital ventures like crypto and social media. This mix of old and new money is totally key to understanding the final number. Let's dig in. First up, the wild world of crypto. The source highlights this as a major factor in the valuation's recent growth. And because crypto markets can be so volatile, this part of the fortune can see its value shift dramatically, sometimes in just a matter of hours. Next, we have the bedrock of the fortune, real estate. These are the tangible things, the skyscrapers, the golf courses, that have been central to the brand for decades. You could call it the old money part of the portfolio. And the third pillar is the stake in Trump Media, which is the parent company of Truth Social. Now, a lot like crypto, this is a modern asset whose value can swing wildly based on stock performance and public perception, making it another really tricky piece of the valuation puzzle. So, we have all the components, but this is where our explainer gets to the most crucial point. That $7.3 billion figure, it comes with a giant asterisk. It is not a hard number you'd find sitting in a bank account. This question really gets to the heart of valuing any private fortune. When you see a number like this in a headline, you have to ask how much of it is solid, verifiable fact, and how much is just expert interpretation and, well, educated guesswork. The one-word answer? Imprecise. Look, the Forbes analysis itself makes it really clear. Valuing private assets is just not an exact science. It's more like a complex puzzle where several of the pieces are missing. Let's look at why. This slide really shows the three biggest challenges. First, as we've talked about, you have these highly fluctuating assets like stocks and cryptos that can literally change value by the minute. Then, you have to account for potential legal liabilities, financial penalties that are often a moving target. But the biggest challenge is that third one, limited public information. Unlike a public company, a private entity just doesn't have to open its books to the world, which means any valuation has to rely on estimation. So here's probably the most important takeaway from all of this. An estimate is a snapshot in time. It's not cash in a vault. It's based on the best information available at that moment, but it is not the same thing as a hard fact. And understanding this difference is such a crucial piece of financial literacy, especially when we see these huge numbers thrown around in the news. Which brings us to this final, critical question. We've just explored all the complexities of a private fortune, one that's full of estimates and variables. It's a stark contrast to a public fortune, which is mostly tied to publicly traded stock that anybody can look up. So it kind of leaves you wondering, what is the true difference in what we're allowed to see? And what does that mean for how we understand wealth and power in the world today?